Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we are going to be looking at Nick Fuentes, the king of rage bait, and how far will he go in order to gain relevance, in order for him to stay relevant and gain clicks in today's society. He is somebody who literally says, many people applaud him for, making full use of his free speech. Many people applaud him for saying it how it is. But in one way, he is, just becoming very performative. Everything that he says and does is very calculated, I believe. It is a grift. It is how he makes money, okay? And he sells a lie to many people, being like, oh, yeah, I'm helping many people tell the truth, explore truth, when the real truth of the world is that the rich elites are in charge of the world, okay, and they want everyday people to remain poor, remain weak, so that the elites can stay in power. That is what they are trying to do. That is how they are trying to stay relevant, um, by making sure that you are weak and they keep profiting from
Just a
you.
few years ago, Nick Fuentes was banned from virtually every major platform of the internet, with both the left and the right united in rejecting him all over his extremist views on race and gender.
Like, they know that black people are violent, you know? I will say, hey, black people are violent, and then they'll go, I bet you wouldn't say that in front of a black person. Why? Because they're a thug that'll hit me? Like,
go out there on my show and I say, I don't think women should be in the workforce. Frankly, I don't know if they should be voting.
At the
I mean, a lot of what he says is fucking funny. Like, you have to give it to him because it is so outlandish, because it is so, you know, outside of everyday, normal, polite society, that many people, kind of get drawn into it. And, the internet has become this place where literally, if you want to make it big, you have to become controversial. Everybody who is anyone relevant on the internet right now who is going viral, they're doing it through rage. They're doing it by spreading more and more controversial views, more and more you know views to piss the most people off. Okay, so race is a great one, right? The more racist you are, the more viral you go, because people kind of make content around you being like, oh, can you believe what so and so said? Right, look at this person, being crazy, being racist, being homophobic, being right, whatever, attacking whatever part of the population, right? Any niche group that you want to point at, okay? um and many people are doing it, many people are making a great living doing so, right? That is what is working on the internet. That is how people are making money.
time, it genuinely seemed like he was headed down the same road as Richard Spencer and Milo Yiannopoulos, as he continued to shout into the void for a small, cult-like following, before fading into irrelevancy like every other deplatformed far-right personality that came before him. But fast forward to 2026, and the story looks completely different. Because not only has Nick Fuentes survived, he's somehow managed to become one of the most influential figures in online spaces that push traditional right-wing political ideas. And despite still being banned from pretty much everywhere, he still regularly appears on some of the largest podcasts, pulling in millions of views and exposing his ideas to audience far beyond his original base. And surprisingly, this recent rise in his popularity isn't because he cleaned up his image or distanced himself from his past. If anything, he's gotten more radical and more openly.
Yeah, because because the world is in such disarray, because there are many people who are suffering in the world. They're looking for someone to blame, right? And then when this guy comes along and says and points a direction at any group of people, whether it be black people, whether it be immigrants, whether it be Jewish people, like, he'd be like, look, that is your enemy. That is where you need to direct your frustration, hate towards. He is seen as a messiah, right? He is, for many people, a messiah figure. He is, by many people, seen as a type of leader. But where is he leading his people to, right? What is he accomplishing, right? All he's saying is, yeah, man, white people need to band together, and we need to take back control of our country and get rid of immigrants, get rid of black people, get rid of brown people. Where's that going to lead you? Okay, because the real enemy is the people who are running society. Okay, the real enemy is the people above, right? Because that they do this, right? They want you distraction, and I truly believe that Nick Fuentes he must be a CIA plant, right? He must be somebody who is working with the CIA at least to divide and conquer, right? Because the real enemy is the people at the top, the elites, the governments who are trying to, right, like if you look at what the World Economic Forum is doing, right, with Agenda 2030, they want to implement a surveillance state all across the world, right? In the Western world, they want to be in total control of everything. They want to bring in CBDCs to see where you are spending your money. They want to strip you of your freedom of speech, right? And then instead of looking at the top level, right, the top layer of people who are running the world, running society and ruining it, right, they want you to look at this freak show on the internet, right, running his mouth, being a mini Adolf Hitler. Okay, and that is what his playbook is. Okay, he is literally trying to distract you, spread hate, to go viral, so that you are left and confused, just watching his crappy content instead of focusing on the real enemy in the world.
Hateful than ever before.
Jews are running society, women need to shut the fuck up, blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part, and we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
Yeah, and he says it's that simple, okay, but like where are your arguments, right? Why should women shut the fuck up? Okay, why should all black people be in prison? Okay, like at least make a nuanced point, right? Just by saying all this rage baity shit, right? Like people are like it's funny, right? Like even I would laugh at it. I find the guy quite amusing, right? But where are the actual nuanced points? Because the other thing, what happens is all he does is further frustrate and anger people, rile people up to be angry. Okay, instead of offering any type of solution, like all right, Nick, great, all right, we're ready to follow your plan. What do we do? Well, and there's nothing, right? There's no leadership from this guy. This guy is somebody who all he is a clown, right? He is just a joker, a jester. He is just there for entertainment. Okay, and if your cup of tea within entertainment is if you enjoy just watching people be racist, be just be any type of homophobic slur, anti-Semites, right? Like it all rolled into one, right? Like Nick Fuentes is your guy, but if you want to actually make a difference in the world, like this guy's not doing it. He's been on the internet for years. All he's got cancelled and came back, and now he is jumping on live streams with the rest of the manosphere people to further incite hate, instead of starting a revolution. Like great, like where's the revolution from Myron? Like Myron Gaines, what about Sneaker? What about Tate? What have these people actually done? Right? They've been on the internet for fucking years. They're like, yeah, we're coming to save men. We're doing all this, right? We're championing men, right? We're ready to start this revolution. And what have they done so far? Like they have done nothing apart from line their own pockets to get rich. And now you have this next guy, Clavicular, who's telling you to literally fucking, focus on only looks. Like again, like where is this going to lead you to, right? And the leaders, the people that go viral on the internet, these people that you elect, and look up to as leaders, they're doing fuck all for you, right? They are letting you down. They are leading you down a dark and dangerous path.
It's literally that simple.
While many people online understandably consider him to be a Nazi for these views, his audience continues to grow like any.
Even the Nazis had a little bit more class than Nick Fuentes. Do you get what I mean? Even the Nazis, like they at least believed, right? Like even they were totally wrong about their beliefs, right? But they in their heart of hearts, they really truly believed in they were making a difference in the world, right? But Nick Fuentes isn't. Like what has he achieved? Like with the Nazis, with HH, Adolf, right, little mustache guy. At least he achieved something. What was Nick Fuentes done apart from make money live streaming? Do you know what I mean? Like is that what it's come down to? Like if Hitler was to, right, if Hitler had access to the internet, back in the 1940s, right, he wouldn't have started a war. All he would have done is live stream. live stream people and tell them about what the Jews are doing. Like, is that all there is in the world? Okay, these people, all they're going to do is keep you dumb, right? They're going to entertain you for a bit, but in the end, right, like the elites will win. Okay, because this is their plan. They want clowns like him to be seen on the internet. They want him to rile up and further divide people. In the end, the elites, the people who are running the world, they are going to run off with bags and bags of cash. Okay, inflation is already stealing money out of your pocket without you even fucking realizing it. Because most people are just too dumb to even realize what inflation does. You know, they might have even heard of it. Okay, they might know where it is, but you know, in the end, like most people aren't even aware what is going on. That is why most people are fucked in the world. Okay, and most people are going to remain fucked. You have to remember, like, you can't even save most people. All you can hope for the best is that you sort yourself out, that you sort out the people that you love, and that you find people that you find on the same wavelength as you, people who share similar sort of beliefs and values as you. And in a world full of 10 billion people, you're going to find the right people. You're going to find the right people. You're going to have to, if you want to survive, if you want to be to live a great life in the future, right? Because the countries where you are residing in now, right, America, Europe, okay, these places, they are going to absolute shit. And you can blame migrants if you want, you can blame immigration, right, whatever. Like the migrants didn't just appear. Okay, the immigrants didn't just appear. It is the people running, for specific reasons to further disrupt the current systems within your country. And then you can't point at the government and say, okay, it's their fault. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to actually point at the people who who have been brought over here, which further creates more tension, more civil unrest. It's going to lead to a place in the world where you just don't feel safe. Right. And how do you survive the next phase of human evolution, right? Because currently we are heading towards a dangerous path. We're heading towards a place where you are going to live in poverty forever. If you say anything against the governments, they will put you in fucking jail. The only thing that is left to do is for you to somehow start your own country, which is what we are doing here on this channel. Okay, and how do we do it? The way that we do it is that we use subject matter expertise. Okay, whatever the thing is that we are meant to do in this world, we highlight that. We become subject matter experts. We broadcast it to the world, okay, using the power of the internet. And through the power of the internet, the right type of people will find you. And once they find you, you can connect with them. You can make friends. You can make real, new business partners. You can make, find people who truly care about you, people who truly have your back, people who want you to succeed. And together, you can start new civilizations, start new nations, right? Buy private islands, move away from the shithole wherever you are, and take yourself and the people that you love to a better world and better place. Let's jump back into the video.
Other mainstream political commentator, which is exactly what makes his popularity so concerning, and why Nick may be far more dangerous than most people realize. It's your boy Luesta, and this is how Nick Fuentes became so hated. But first, let's bring you up to speed on how this 26-year-old American man of Mexican and Italian descent became one of the most controversial figures on the internet in the first place. Nick Fuentes actually got his start in politics while he was still in high school, commenting on local political topics.
And this is the face of racism, right? He's just a little nerd, right? He's not even like like here in England or in the United States, when you imagine like a real racist, right? You imagine like some working class guy, like in a pub somewhere. And this guy's just a fucking geek, right? He wants to play at politics. He kind of realized he's probably not good enough to win debates on an actual intellectual level, that he can't actually get around to that he's not going to make any big contribution, trying to be a politician, trying to be elected. So at the end of it, he just thought, fuck this, let me just piss a bunch of people off. And because he lived at the right place, right time, right? Because if he tried this 20 years ago, it would have got him nowhere, right? But right place, right time. Right now, rage bait is all the rage on the internet. It is what makes it successful. and then he just popped off on the internet, and now he is in vogue. They even tried to cancel him, right? They tried to get rid of him. He made his way back because that is what gets you views. So even all these big platforms probably realized, look, man, we got to get Nick Fuentes back, because if we don't, we are going to lose out on a lot of money. And this is the world that we live in, right? They are trying to literally dumb you down by making him watch his shit. Let's jump into the comments. Mogmax United, welcome Mogmaxa. I hope you are doing well. Racism doesn't make sense to me, because either you are at individual level, win or lose. Plus, how can white people be more civilized with the horrid behavior of white women? Yeah, I mean, racism exists because it's kind of built into your DNA, because to be wary of people who are different to you, because they might carry bacteria or viruses that can kill you. But it is an ancient thing built into your hardwired into the human psyche. And with the horrid behavior of white women. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you're gonna find good people and dickhead people in all types of societies. There's a lot of Indian pricks, right? But there's also a lot of good people who are Indian. Like, do you get what I mean? There's a lot of white people who are dickheads, and there's a lot of good people who are white. You find all types of people everywhere. But the thing is, like, that is not where the focus should be right now, because the focus should be between the people who are making decisions at the top elite level, right? Who are running the world, right? Versus everybody else. Okay, there should be, at the moment, we all need to look up, right, and be like, oh, who the fuck is making these fucking decisions, instead of looking down at each other, being like, okay, is he a Trump supporter, right? Oh, is this person a racist? Like, instead of focusing on all this shit, right, we should all be looking up at who is truly running the world. He is not even white. Yeah, I believe he's Mexican, isn't he? It just, the jokes kind of write themselves, isn't it? It's like this guy he's just a performative guy. He's just faking it. Any excuse to make money. And look, man, like, you can go down that route where you can rage bait people, where you can really piss people off, or you can try and do something great with your life. You can try to accomplish something. The route that we are going down on this channel is we're trying to help a lot of people, because we only have a short window of opportunity before the world is fucked, I believe, before the World Economic Forum ushers in its full power of Agenda 2030. Before that, we need to come together and offer humanity a new solution, an alternative. And because me and you are the first people to do it, because we are the people right at the start, on the ground up, we get to crown ourselves kings, and we get to live the best life, okay? Because we are taking all the risk. This is how we stay winning. This is what we're about. This is why we are going to control the world.
For his school's radio station. At the time, his views were pretty standard, with nothing too far outside of the mainstream echo chambers. But after graduating in 2016, things started to shift. He enrolled at Boston University to study international relations and politics. And around the same time period, he launched his daily live stream show, America First, where his ideas quickly grew far more extreme. It was here where we started to see Nick push narratives about the supposed failure of multiculturalism, the marginalization of white people in America, and the argument that the First Amendment simply wasn't written for Muslims or immigrants. Unsurprisingly, these views earned him a pretty negative reputation on campus, but things didn't fully spiral out of control until later that year, when he attended the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, a white supremacist event that was attended by hundreds of neo-Nazis and Klan members. The rally made national headlines after a self-identified white supremacist drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing a 32-year-old woman and injuring 35 others. But when Nick took to Facebook to post about the event, he completely ignored the tragedy and instead called the rally incredible. For obvious reasons,
so you have a guy actually commit a crime of terrorism at a rally, and Nick goes, it's incredible. I mean, this is the person who is leading the face of the far right at the moment, okay? Even the far right people probably don't want to associate with a fucking clown like Nick Fuentes, okay? All he is doing is literally just pissing people off, rage baiting people, and trying to make money.
This triggered a massive wave of backlash both online and on his university campus that ultimately forced him to drop out.
When you start receiving death threats to the extent that I have, it just becomes a liability to my brand, to my academic success and everything else. When
I mean, there you heard it there first. His brand. Okay, that is what he cares about. That is what he is doing for. It's all about creating a brand, and because the zeitgeist has moved, the open window has moved to a place where now he is rewarded for having the most outrageous takes on the internet. He is succeeding. Right. I mean, you've seen this playbook many times. Even Alex Jones, why did he go viral? Why did he go famous? Because he was, documenting and, broadcasting news about conspiracy theories. He was investigating conspiracy theories. And bringing new information to the world, right? Whereas this guy isn't a subject matter expert. All he is a subject matter expert being racist, right? And it's a short window. Okay, I'm sure he's going to be successful and carry on making money, right? And good for him, I guess. But there is a ceiling to it, okay? Because at some stage, all he is going to do is further dig himself into this corner where he has to continue doing all this bullshit, right? And I believe he is gay, right? Like many people have said he's a closeted homosexual, right? So how does that align with his far right views? Okay, so you have a neo-Nazi who's also a homosexual. Like it's like where how does this align with his ideology? Like, you get what I mean? So he is going to back himself in the corner, and I'm sure that there's going to be some big narrative arc where he is a reformed guy, or he continues digging himself into a deeper hole.
You do have to.
By the way, what the fuck happened to his face? Like I never knew he used to look like this. I bet I bet you start look smaxing. You know what I mean? He probably saw one of Clavicula's videos, and then he started look smaxing, and now he is looking very different.
Worry about people ganging up on you or whatever.
And even though he publicly claimed he didn't support Nazism or the attack itself, the damage.
Yeah, so again, right, he had this plan where he was saying that he doesn't support Nazism, and then a couple years later he's saying that Adolf, little mustache man, is the best role model for people. And look, man, like sometimes people can do shit, and you might not even align with them, but you have to think it's impressive. And even like little mustache man, like he was like what he did was kind of like, wow, like how the fuck did this guy achieve all this, right? And he is a fascinating character. He is a character that needs to be studied. His rise needs to be studied, and what he was able to do. But I do believe what he was probably doing was he was actually just a paranoid schizophrenic who very much believed in his own views, what he was saying. Probably having delusions, whereas this guy Nick Fuentes, he is just doing it for performance. It is a performance act that he is doing. He's not about that life.
Damage was already done, and this moment marked the beginning of a downward spiral that would only get worse over time. But ironically, all that controversy also brought a flood of new attention to his live streams. And over the next few years, that exposure helped him build a loyal following that only made him more comfortable being open and completely unapologetic.
Yeah, what probably happened is he might have had some right-wing takes about shit. He got into trouble, and that kind of pushed him down this echo chamber. And then the people who supported him were even more extremist white people, racist people, sorry. And then he just carried on doubling down on this because his support group, his fans really, really enjoyed that type of content. And now he's just, he has to embrace that type of life. Okay. Whether he was a racist or not, whether he really believed in his, philosophies and ideologies, I reckon he kind of just he kind of has to go with it now, right? He's backed himself into a corner. That is who he is now. And, for the rest of his life, he is going to have to live this type of life. There's a great scene in, if you like Game of Thrones, right? Like, I love Game of Thrones. In, I think it's season 1 or season 2 probably, where the character Theon has taken Winterfell, and, it's the day before, the Northerners are going to, storm the castle and take it back from Theon and the Greyjoys, okay? And Maester Lewin, of Winterfell, he tells Theon, look, this is not you. You're not this man, okay? You're just whoever you're trying to be right now is, it's not the real Theon. And then Theon goes, you're probably right. Yeah. However, I've gone too far down this road to turn back, and I reckon that is what's happened to Nick Fuentes, right? He's like, whoever he's pretending to be now, that's not him, but that wasn't him in the beginning, right? But he's gone so far down this road that there's no turning back now, right? He just got lost in the source. He got lost out there in the jungle, and that is who he has become. That's how he has to live his life now. Okay. And you have to remember, like all your decisions, in life have consequences, right? Like even with all these OnlyFans girls, these adult content creators, right? A lot of them, when they're young, when they're 18, 19, 20, they go into that life, okay? And then, once they grow up, they're like, all right, like it's a little bit shameful that I fucking done this. I wish I didn't. I was kind of coerced into it by, all these older people, shady agents, whatever, right? I wish I didn't do all that shit. Okay. However, look, your actions have consequences, right? You can't just erase the past. You can't just, turn back. It is something that you have to live with forever. It's a scar that you have to bear. In the same way that Nick Fuentes, all you can do now is double down. Okay. Like, and that's all that is left for him to do. I have learned that there are no business people or entrepreneurs, so to speak, just people that can make brands out of themselves or are really good at something and can make money from it. Yeah, look, that's what it's about. So what happened is, now, because we live in the age of the internet, like the normal world rules, like business rules, like those don't apply anymore. Okay, they died about 5-10 years ago. Right now, because we're moving more and more on the internet, and it kind of got sped up during the pandemic, because more people, since the pandemic, people spend more hours online now than they did before. Okay, and we're already living pretty much online before, right? And the rules of the internet is more about attention, right? And when you are seeking attention, it is more about, what is dangerous, what is exciting, which is why things like video games, pornography, which is why brain rot content, dopamine spike content is, so prevalent on the internet, because, you're literally, like, think about it. Like, if you think of the internet as a jungle, right? Like, and you're just seeing this mini little explosions happening. You're looking there, looking there, looking there, right? So whatever is getting your attention is what wins. Okay. And then when you have guys like Andrew Tate come along, or Nick Fuentes, and they're saying all this outlandish shit, right? Like, that is how they hook people. That is how they gain attention. And because they gain that attention, right, they're seen as a leader, right? They're seen as the point of authority of that movement. And then people start paying them money. So, but whether it's by views, via donations, or via courses that they sell, okay, like money starts funneling up there, right? Which is the same thing that you need to do, right? You need to become the person, the main point of authority for mogmaxing, right? And because once you are so big on the internet, right, where people see you, okay, and it doesn't need to be so big, right? What I mean by so big is actually quality members of your audience who really understand what you're trying to do and believe in you. And then once you're seen as a point of authority in their life, okay, when they're going through the rest of their life, okay, when there's a question about mogmaxing, they'll associate mogmaxing with you, and then they'll keep coming back to your content. They'll build a connection. Okay. I mean, you understand what parasocial relationship is, right? Like when you have a connection with a person over the internet, right? So you build that connection with them, and then, yeah, that is how you're seen as a point of authority, and that is how you start making money, right? That is how all these influencers are doing it, right? That is what their brand is. Okay, it is just them leveraging their authority, right? But we go one step beyond, because we are using that authority. We are building, a group of people. Because the thing is, like, the group of people who follow Nick Fuentes or Andrew Tate, right? Like, those are people that you don't really want to fuck with, right? Those are people that they don't even want to associate with, because Andrew Tate hates his followers, right? What you want is, you want to have a group, your audience members, to be the type of people that you actually want to be friends with, right? Because then you can take that group and actually create a real community out of it. That is how you change the world. That is what we are doing. That is what I'm look at it, right? And again, this is how me and you have met. This is how me and you have become friends. This is a way that we are building new societies, and this is how we will build new kingdoms. for example, if you win The Apprentice, nobody gives a shit about your business skills, only that you're famous now with connections. Yeah, yeah, it is all about becoming famous. It's all about leveraging attention and your brand. And look, you don't have to be an actual subject matter expert, right? You can go down a route of just appearing to be a subject matter expert. Okay, you can fake it. There's many examples on the internet of people who have faked it. I mean, you know who Gary Vee is, right? The business marketing guru on the internet. Like he's shit at business. Okay, he's shit at marketing, shit at business, but he just markets. He branded himself, right, in the correct way to appear like, you know, that he has real authority. And because he's branded himself like that, right, he's got actual followers, right, of his shit. And that way he is now famous enough, as you said, right, and he's got the connections, which is what his business is all about, right? So there are other ways to do it. The only reason why I say it is to do it in something that you are interested in, something that you actually truly love. You know, to work at something that is part of your life purpose, in essence, right? The reason why I say it to do is because then working at it just becomes easier for you, right? Because if you're doing, like, for example, like you're into mog maxing, right? But if I tell you to do, you know, I want you to become, you know, make a YouTube channel about economics, right? You might not like economics, okay? You might not enjoy that subject, okay? But if I was to tell you to make a whole YouTube channel, I could give you the whole step-by-step guide to doing it. But because you don't actually enjoy economics, right, like it, you will hate yourself for doing it, right? It will be like a fucking 9 to 5 slave job for you, right? It'll be like, oh fuck, I gotta make those shitty videos again. Whereas like if you do it in a subject that you actually care about, right, it just rolls off your tongue, right? It becomes very easy for you. You are in control of what you're doing, and you will enjoy it, right? It will become part of you. It was how you will it's how you're able to work hard, right? Like all these people who, you know, people look up to, be like, oh yeah, look man, they're great hustlers, they're great, you know, they never sleep, they work so fucking hard. It's because they're doing something that they truly love, right? Which is why it never actually feels like real love for them, which is why, you know, they don't need any productivity hacks, any discipline to do the fucking job. It is just easy to them because that is what they are meant to do. Let's carry on with the video.
Apologetic about his most extreme views. It didn't take long for Nick to move way past simply criticizing multiculturalism or immigration policy and into outright white nationalism, going as far as arguing that the term white supremacist is actually an anti-white slur, and that white people in America are somehow under an existential threat from non-white groups.
And so whites are in this predicament where if we don't team up, it's not just that we will be at a disadvantage, but we will be at the mercy of a large non-white coalition that is anti-white.
And as he tries to justify these radical views by framing them as defensive, he implies that he's simply trying to protect white identity.
So it is in the best interest for whites to survive and to thrive that we develop a white racial consciousness so that we can protect our interests against a hostile majority with an axe to grind against us.
But the moment Nick starts to talk about non-white people, that argument completely falls apart, and the racism becomes impossible to ignore. And nowhere is that more obvious than his views towards black people.
You know, these blacks, hey, 13% of the population, half the crime, you know, they struggle with the impulse control, they're violent, and then they...
I don't want to live around black people. I just don't.
I mean, you can see the evolution in his content, right? Like the first bit where he was saying, like, you know, he's trying to actually sound political. He's trying to sound like he's making reasonable, you know, arguments. And then, you know, a few years later, like where he is at now, like the second clip, like this clip here, he's just like, I just don't want to be around black people. I just don't want to be around white people. I don't want to be around them at all. Okay, it is he is just now a caricature, right? This is why you cannot take this guy serious, right? He's not about it, right? He's not actually trying to, you know, you know, go ahead and do it. Form a white nation, you know, form you know, a system where, you know, it's just full of white people. It's going to be a great country, no doubt about it, you know, and he's got his right to be, right? If that is what the type of, you know, king that you want to be, if that is the type of life that you want to live, great, good for you, you know, like, you know, everybody should get to do what the fuck they want to do, right? But without at the expense of being a prick to anybody else, without being a dickhead towards anybody else. But I just believe it's better to collaborate, to bring about and share about ideas, which is what, you know, I don't really give a fuck about race. Do you get what I mean? I don't give a fuck about race because I just want to hang around with kings. The only race that I believe in is the race of kings, the royal alliance of kings that I'm forming, the the amiches that I'm bringing together, because I just want to be around people who who understand that the world is in the worst of places and that they need a new group of leaders to lead them to a better world, right? That is the world that I want to build, right? Because you can't trust everybody. You've seen it yourself. The people who run the world right now, the people who are famous on the internet, you can't trust them, right? What are they doing? These people have been around forever. They have not done anything. They have not brought about change. This is why we need a new group of leaders, okay? And who should it be? Like, who the fuck should it be? This is why I believe it should be us, because why not? Right? Because we at least have good intentions, because we ain't got fucking dickhead people, right? We are the ones who actually want to help humanity, right? We want to bring about a better class of people. We want to lead the human race to its next evolution, a better evolution, right? Because the elites, the people who are in charge of the world right now, right, they are just going to pull you into further wars, right? As you can see with the war in Iran going on right now, with China, potential Cold War coming with China, the conflict with Russia and Ukraine again is a proxy war, because the Western world, NATO is supporting Ukraine. So the people who are in charge right now, they're just making the world worse. This is why we need to come together to offer a new alternative to the people of the world.
It would be irresponsible if I had a wife and kids to live near black people.
The thing is, like, this guy's not ever going to have a wife and kids, is he? Because he is a closet homosexual, I believe. Yeah, let me just confirm that. Is he actually gay or is he closeted?
People. It just would be.
He also believed that the black communities are destroying American cities.
It is literally a rot that is killing every American city. Go to downtown Los Angeles. It's like Escape from LA. It's killing New York.
Yeah, I mean, I just checked up that I think he's like 27 years old, and he's still a virgin. Like, I mean, no wonder he's fucking got all these all these crazy views. He just needs to get laid, right? So this is what happens when you have incels, when you have people who are aren't able to have sex with real women. They end up in the situation where they are then spouting the most ludicrous and racist nonsense on the internet, all for attention, right? I mean, he's got enough money now. Why is he still not getting pussy? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, come on, Nick. Just go see a brothel. There's no shame in it. Like, this times that we live in, right? Most women are escorts. It is all about having a sugar baby, and I believe Nick Fuentes needs to get himself a sugar baby, and whether it's a male sugar baby or a female sugar baby or whatever, Nick, okay? But you put your money to use. Lose your virginity, for God's sake, okay? Maybe he's just asexual, but I just don't believe it. I just don't believe, like, someone who's asexual would then also be like an extreme right-wing racist. This guy doesn't make sense if you think about it. This guy doesn't make sense. Like, if Andrew Tate was racist, like, I could kind of see it, right? Even though he's half black apparently, but like, at least with like what's Nick Fuentes fighting for? Like, he's not into women, right? He doesn't enjoy sex, right? Like, he's got all the money in the world. He doesn't want like, at least get married then. If you're that such a conservative, like how comes you're not married either, right? Because I believe, at least like someone like Charlie Kirk, for example, like that he was he was a real conservative because he started a family, right? He had children, okay? But this guy, like okay, you've got all the money in the world, right? Like, you are like, yeah, like why are you not starting a family? It just doesn't make sense. He's a strange character, right? I don't believe the type of life that he is living is truthful. It is all performative. It is just him being a theater kid. It's gonna be about classes now, like Brave New World, Alpha, Beta, Epsilon, Martian. You mean Freemason? I believe. Yeah, I think Freemason, etc. Also, don't check Nick's porn history. Yeah, I don't want to see his porn history, man. I believe didn't he, like, wasn't he involved with like that Destiny guy as well? So yeah, I think he's just an unhappy, frustrated guy. This is what happens. I believe, I think everybody should, when they turn, 14, 15, 16, a boy should be able to go, to a brothel, just lose his virginity, so he doesn't end up in a weird space like this guy. It is absolutely wild what this guy, inceldom, has done to him.
Killing Chicago. It's killing these cities.
On top of that, he's gone as
I mean, he's so passionate about it, right? But why? What future are you trying to build, right? It doesn't make sense why this guy is getting so riled
far
up.
as defending Jim Crow era racial segregation on his show, claiming that segregation was actually better for everyone involved.
It was better for them too, number one, but number two, who cares? Who cares? Enough with the Jim Crow stuff. Who cares? Oh, they had to drink out of a different water fountain. Big fucking deal. Oh no, they had to go to a different school. Their water fountain in that famous picture was worse. Who cares? Grow up, drink out of the fucking water fountain. It's water, it's the same. And even if it was bad, who cares? Who cares? It's better. It's better.
See what I mean? Like, it is just performative. Like, you can't take this guy serious. And the thing is, it's not even that funny. Like, after a while, it's just not even that funny. Like who's watching his fucking live stream thinking like, yeah, man, Nick Fuentes is the guy? Like, who are these people that are actually fucking supporting him?
In general, we all agree it was better for them. It's better for us. Better in general.
The thing is, such political views can very easily go from being edgy opinions and transform into something genuinely dangerous. Because when you frame an entire group of people as an existential threat, it doesn't take much for words to turn into justification for real-world violence.
Yeah, again, so like, it's the problem with Nick Fuentes is like these problems that are being caused, right? He's rightful to be concerned about some issues, I guess, right? But who's causing them, right? It is, you have to look at the elites. You have to look at the people who want you segregated, right? Like, they want there to be racial tension, right? Because then the races are just focused on each other instead of looking at the actual power structures that are ruling the world, right? The real people want you fucked, okay? The real people, like, they want you weak, so that they can usher in their martial law, so that they can usher in their surveillance state. It is what the elites want. They want you distracted.
And Nick doesn't exactly shy away from that implication either. He openly fantasizes about the so-called superior Aryan race to rise up and destroy its enemies.
You know what I want? Total Aryan victory. That's all I want.
But he looks like a proto Mexican there with his little mustache. Put a sombrero on him as well.
I didn't choose that. All I want is revenge against my enemies and a total Aryan victory.
Similarly, he believes that Islam is a barbarous ideology that wanted to come over and kill others, and that Muslims have a dark energy.
But Muslims have like a dark energy. Muslims have like they always look angry. I hate the way their language sounds. It's so harsh. They got their feet out. They're wearing sandals, and they take.
he hates the fact that they're a third world country. Like, like, look, I think that's quite funny what he's saying there. It's like, oh, I hate everything about them. Their language sounds quite harsh. They got the feet out. Like, he is like quite funny, this guy. Like, you have to give it to him.
Them off for their prayer. They worship a strange god. Their food is weird.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg of Nick's obnoxious point of views.
The food is weird. It's like, oh my days.
He's a traditionalist Catholic who wants the United States to become a Christian nation, and when he talks about it, he's very explicit about what that actually means to him. For instance, during a broadcast of America First that went live in February of 2022, Nick said in his own words, "America, for what it's worth, was founded by white Christians. It was not founded by Jewish people. It was not founded by Judeo-Christians. It was founded by white Christians. And white Christians are in the majority. Christianity is the religion of this nation. If we're going to make America great again..."
The problem is, though, right? Like, if let's say you get rid of all the black people, all the brown people out of America, okay, and all that is left is white people, right? And then let's say, because America is then for only white people, all the white people from all across the world all move to America, right? You're still going to have, like Mogmax has said here, it's still going to be by class. right? Because you're going to have the ruling class at the top of white people, and at the bottom you're going to have all the bottom, the lower class white people. Okay, like even in America, like what do you call America? Like what do you call a white American that is a lower class person? You call them a redneck. Why? Because they are doing the manual work outside, getting burnt by the sun, right? Like that is why they're called rednecks. Um, so you're still going to have this power structure, right? So every white people are still going to be fucked if they still live within this oppressive system, right? Like, so Nick Fuentes, you know, for he's still going to, you're still going to have the same fucking problems, right? But it's just going to be white people fucking each other up, right? Whereas instead of like now, you know, everybody kind of fucks each other up anyway. Like even like now, like all these angry white people who are following Nick, okay, and saying that, see him as some type of hero. Okay, what happens when they all live in a white country? What happens then? Right? Because their lives are still not going to improve because they're not in charge of the system. This is why I'm like, look, we can't fix the current system, right? The system is broken, right? Leave the system and let's build a new one, right? Where me and you, we become the rulers of that system. That is what I'm about. That is what I'm like. I'm like, fuck this. This ain't gonna be able to. You ain't gonna be able to fix it, right? Become a leader, right, of something new, right? Start your own system. Be in charge of it, right? Or be the own that fucking system, right? And when you do own it, like you get to live the best life because you took that fucking risk, right? That is the only way that we can sort it out. That is the only way that we can save the world. And because we, as the new rulers of the world, because we choose to be good people, we will come up with a new solution, a new, better way of running the world, of governing the world. We are going to make a new huge impact onto the people of the earth.
We've got to talk about the anti-white thing that's going on. And if we want to restore America, we've got to make America a Christian nation again. At first glance, that might sound like just another extreme religious or nationalist.
I mean, all you gotta do is look at like Italy, for example, right? Italy has been a Catholic country since the fall of the Roman Empire. You know, however, Italy is run by like a few elite Italian families, and then you have the rest of the Italian people, you know, who are all, you know, under the influence, under the power structures of the rich Italian elite. Okay, and you know, that power structure will still, you know, will still be there, right? And many parts of Italy, you know, they are less economically developed. Okay, there are many of those parts of poor. Like we got to do is look at Sicily, for example, the south of Italy. So even if your country is homogenous, religiously homogenous, you're still gonna have fucking these issues there, right? Unless you have a situation like uh like the Gulf Arab nations, right? The oil rich countries, who have a product to sell to the rest of the world so that they can fund and look after their own people, right? That is like the only time where religious homogenization kind of works. Everywhere else, it doesn't look great. You know, these problems will still persist.
Opinion. But in reality, Nick genuinely believes that he and his followers are engaged in a kind of holy war, with a divine mission to destroy what he sees as the enemies of Christ.
We're in a holy war, and I will tell you this. Because we're willing to die in the holy war, we will make them die.
Yeah, I mean, like he's just trying to further create more religious fundamentals. He's trying to find the most extreme people who are literally who are brainwashed into thinking that there is some sort of religious holy war. The only fucking war that is going on is the war with the elites who are you know, literally causing your brain to rot. Right, they are trying to keep you weak, and you are losing it every single day by remaining in the system. Right, you need to lead the system. You need to become a subject matter expert. Right, you need to be within your life purpose, in your zone of genius. You need to be rising the ranks and be seen as a point of authority. Right, and once you're seen as a point of authority, we will crown ourselves kings. You will become a king, and you will establish a kingdom, your own nation, so that you can stay safe within your kingdom with your followers and supporters. And once we have 100 kings, once we have 100 kingdoms, once we have our own private islands, our own land and nations, we will overtake the whole world. We will overthrow the you know, the evil elites who are in charge of the world and running the world right now. That is why we are going to be victorious, because we have the power of true friendship, because we have the power of kings, right? That is why that is how we are going to, overthrow people like Nick Fuentes.
In the holy war. And they will go down. We have God on our side, and they will go down with their satanic master. They have no future in America. The enemies of Christ have no future in this world.
And as you can probably guess, in his worldview, that enemy is Jewish people.
We need to recognize Judaism hates Christ.
Yeah, he's just basically trying to create a narrative where, that they're the good guys. Nick Fuentes is the good guy. The enemy are Jews. He's literally just trying to copy, HH, Little Mustache Man, Austrian painter. That's my favorite one, by the way. It's like, would you describe, because obviously you can't really say his name on the internet because it flags it. I don't know. I think the algorithm flags it, or YouTube flags your video if you say his real name. But when people describe him, they say Little Mustache Man, but my favorite one's the Austrian painter. If you don't know why he's called that, because obviously he's from Austria originally, and he was a painter before. He studied art in before he became a soldier. So I always find it funny when people call him that.
It has antipathy towards Europeans, and we need to decouple from them as a civilization.
In fact, he's so open about his anti-Semitism that he's developed a sickening obsession with Hitler and repeatedly praises him like a hero.
Buddy, it's
Yeah, I think he's just trying to, use him as his idol and use the same playbook, in order to gain relevance. He just wants to have power, but even if he was to have that much amount of power, he wouldn't do fuck all with it, right? He's not about that life, okay? He's not strong enough to fucking do it. At least with him, with the OG Nick Fuentes, the Austrian painter, at least he was a war hero, right? He'd been to war, he was a prisoner of war. He lived that life, right? What's this guy done? He's not even fucking white. He's Mexican. Do you get what I mean? So he is a fake. He's a fraud. He is a theater kid.
Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler. All my niggas, Nazis, nigga. Heil. Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, time to grow up. We're not children anymore.
He was really, really cool. Let's grow up. Okay. If you want to grow up, then you wouldn't say shit like that. It's like he's contradicting himself with every fucking breath that he takes.
Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys?
Was an incredibly ambitious, aggressive risk taker. Given your qualifications, would you thereby say that Hitler is a good leader?
It's indisputable he is. Indisputably. You could even say he's evil. He made Germany great again.
He's right there. He was a great leader because everything by definition of what leader does, right? The metrics that the Austrian painter, who have everyone beat. So he was a great leader. Okay. But but he did go about it maybe the wrong way. Maybe he shouldn't have focused too much on evil. Maybe he should have used his power for good, right? Imagine that. Imagine in some alternate universe, the Austrian painter decides to, instead of spreading and imprisoning all these Jews, causing the Holocaust, instead he decides to basically spread world peace. Imagine if that, what I mean? That would have been, he probably had the capabilities of doing it, right? Because he had the right type of leadership skills to accomplish that sort of goal.
If this isn't already problematic enough, he also denies the Holocaust and compares the victims of that tragedy with baked cookies.
Takes one.
The thing is that the problem I have with Holocaust deniers is so when I grew up in Germany, and when I was I lived there for about 10 years, and basically we had this family friend when my dad first moved to Germany, right? In the 70s. his neighbor in the building was a Holocaust survivor, okay, and she she was like, she became a family friend, right? Like we would see her a couple times a week. We would see her around the town that we lived in, and say hello, and then at times I would go around the house and she would I would just go and spend some time with her. Basically, she would show me like wildlife books. She taught me how to like knit stuffed animals, because we had to do that for a school project once. We will cook like bake like cookies and some cakes. Okay, so she was like a real, like she's somebody who was in these concentration camps. Okay, like I think both her parents passed away in the concentration camps, and only her and her brother survived. But like I remember when I was at her house one time, like she had a picture of this piano, and she told me like, yeah, I used to play piano. We had this piano, but basically what happened was these bad people came and they took away they took away our piano first, and then the second time they came, they stripped us down naked, and then they took us away. Okay, and like I was like a 7-8-year-old kid when I heard this story. Okay, so I had no concept of what happened in the world wars, of the Holocaust. Like, I had no idea about this. Right, I was like literally, I think I was like 8 years old at the time. No concept of this. Never heard about the history. And then it's only years later, like I remember that story of her telling us, and I asked my dad, I was like, oh, was she a Jew? And he goes, yeah, she was. And then it clicked in my head that, oh, she was telling me about the Holocaust, that she's telling me how the Nazis came and took her to a concentration camp. Okay, and this woman, she never had any children. She never had any she like she had no reason to bullshit about being in the Holocaust to me. Okay, because I was just an 8-year-old kid. Like it doesn't make sense. So this whole thing about the Holocaust never even happening is ludicrous, right? This is why I don't believe it. Like I met an actual person who's lost both her parents in the Holocaust, which is why I don't believe when people say they are a Holocaust denier, because I actually met a survivor, and I heard a first-hand account of what actually happened.
Hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years.
I mean, that's the thing that they're saying, that the numbers are fabricated, that it wasn't 6 million. Okay, yeah, maybe, but the fact that it didn't happen to anyone is like, you're being crazy then.
Why? Because they're a thug.
Shut up. Category of mind as a man.
During an appearance on the similarly chaotic Fresh and Fit podcast, he went as far as to say that women are basically baby machines, because that's what their brains are about. And his opinion about sexual assault is also downright criminal. As for him, grape isn't even a big deal.
The idea of rape is that the rapist is getting the sexual pleasure from it. You can, well, it's about power. Well, at the end of the day, it's a sexual act for sexual pleasure. So it literally doesn't even make any sense why you would rape somebody in a way that doesn't even it's not even about your dick, right? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? If you're just finger blasting somebody, like, I don't know if you were just trying to be mean or just down.
I mean, this is the leader of the far right. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't even believe rape is a real thing.
Right, just maybe like you. It's not like it's doing anything for you.
Because according to him, women actually want to be graped.
It's sort of like how a lot of women.
I mean, no one should be taking female advice from Nick Fuentes, a 27-year-old virgin who's probably a closeted homosexual, right? So he's not even into women in the first place, right? Even if he is heterosexual, he's a virgin apparently, right? He's got no experience. Do not take advice of this little Austrian painter imitator.
Want to be raped, and when I say raped, I mean like that sounds bad when I say it like that, but there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them.
He's literally like just read like a woman's blog post probably about her secret fantasies, and now he thinks like all women want to be beaten, all women want to be sexually assaulted. It is absolutely out of control that this is the guy who is meant to be the leader of the far right.
But also, they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
If all of this still doesn't show you the evil and despicable human this guy is, back in November 2024, when Trump won the presidential election, Nick celebrated this by telling women that Republican men now owned their bodies.
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what?
I mean, isn't this just performative? Isn't this just theater kid energy? Do you get what I mean? Like, he's not making any, like, he could use his platform for actual change, like, right? And like, if he wants to be, a white revolutionist, a white racist, if he wants to be a far right voice, go be that. Great. Do you get what I mean? Because there needs to be debate, there needs to be real leaders, real voices, but not the way that this guy's doing. I mean, this guy is just absolute performative. Has he ever been part of any, actual rally? Has he ever had any real fucking, like, at least run a real clan meeting? Do you get what I mean? If you want to be part of the KKK, do a clan meeting. Do you get what I mean? Like, if he was actually about it, if he was a real fucking, racist, start the American, National Party, right? Like, have the US version of the Nazis, right? And be the head of it. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's the type of power that this guy could have, but he's not about that type of life. All he is about is, being a little performative theater kid, so that he can make money and that he can piss people off and that you can be rage baited by him. Let's jump straight towards the end when we're finished.
Regardless of their political side. You see, backing any part of Nick's politics risks normalizing the rest of it. Once people start praising him for being right about one thing, it becomes much easier to overlook or excuse the open racism and misogyny. And for young, impressionable audiences who don't yet have strong political foundations, that kind of normalization can do serious damage. Even when it comes to Israel, his criticism isn't based on the atrocities committed against tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians. The only reason he's against America's association with Israel is his anti-Semitism. And
yeah, so there you go. So this guy isn't doing it for any moral grounds. It's just because he hates the people, right? He is just about spreading hate. He's just about being this fake. Like, if you think if people who say that Andrew Tate's like a fake alpha, right? He's just, faking all this masculinity shit, that, that it's all performative, that he's a theater kid, right? He's a performative alpha male, right? Nick Fuentes is a performative racist, right? Because, he's not really about it. He just says all this shit, this controversial shit to go viral, because it becomes his own little addiction, going viral, getting clicks, riling people up, having this negative hate on the internet. But they don't really do anything with it. Okay? This is where we differ. This is where we are trying to launch nations, build kingdoms. This is where we're trying to unite people, bring about 100 different kingdoms, 100 different kings who will be the future leaders of the world. That is what we're about. That is what we're doing. If you want to be a part of it, this is your opportunity in the world. This is your opportunity in time right now. I'm sending you a message, a personal message, sending out the bat signal to come and join us, join the fight, join the war. We are getting ready. We will be victorious. We will be the new leaders of the world. But that is it for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.